Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 23. I'm Ian Scott.
And I'm his co-host who has a sore neck, Zack Huber.
And this is the podcast where we discuss nerd topics from the last week and this week. But today we have a bunch of stuff to go over with you, like 5 different trailers this week.
Is it 5?
Yeah, including, so we have Skull Island, The Flash, we have The Creator,
which is a new science fiction movie I had no idea was happening.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
And the new Martin Scorsese movie, you know.
And then the Spider-Man 2 trailer just dropped on
gameplay trailer,
Yeah.
Okay.
So, lots to look forward to.
You know, Avengers 5 losing their writer, maybe.
I think that's pretty confirmed at this point.
Indiana Jones 5, mixed reactions.
So yeah, if you like that,
all of them will be in time codes that you can jump to.
Plus the hypothetical this week.
Yes.
Yeah. But we're gonna get started right with the new MonsterVerse property, Skull Island.
Yeah. So I guess this was announced 2 years ago. I vaguely remember it being announced.
I didn't remember it at all being announced. So
so it's a animated show, movie.
Yeah, it's a show
that's coming out on Netflix. Kind of interesting that I guess not HBO, but Warner Brothers Discovery is gonna
just kind of
put it on Netflix.
Yeah, you would think they would want that property for themselves,
but here's the thing: maybe they're putting it on Netflix because it doesn't look very good to me.
Well, okay. here's the thing: is it what is it that doesn't look good?
It's granted, it's a short trailer. It's like a minute.
It's like a minute long.
Yeah.
Right.
It showcases a bunch of, creatures from Skull Island, including King Kong.
Yeah.
Doesn't get into the humans, which, I guess I'm not coming to any of the the MonsterVerse properties for the humans, but
I feel like this one I'm coming the most for though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I think with at least Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Oh, 2005? Okay.
Like Skull Island.
Yeah.
The characters, even though it was a very long movie and you could probably cut everything when they're on the boat.
Right.
Most of it. The characters were what really were compelling about that. And then the monsters just added to it. Because you cared about the characters and what happened to them. But yeah, I mean, at first, I think the animation looks pretty cheap,
I guess.
And my thoughts are maybe when I watch the show, I won't even really think about the animation. I know a lot of people didn't love the animation style for Invincible.
Okay.
And they thought it looked cheap too when that came out.
I think it looked good, but
I thought it looked good, but I can definitely see why they would think it's not like the greatest animation, but it ended up being like an incredible show. So I hope it's better, like the show is better, but I don't know. I'm not like, ooh, gotta watch this.
Right.
I guess. Yeah.
For me, I got like very like huge vibes for like Young Justice and like the Justice League kind of like superhero movies, animated movies. I'll say.
I think the Young Justice, like, are you talking about like the animation style? See,
the animation and art style, I'll like both say reminded me of that.
I guess I think Young Justice looks better.
Maybe later on it does. I guess I've only seen like the first season.
I think even in the first season.
Okay. I mean, I don't think it's like great quality like we're getting, but like to me it's enough, and I think this is like a really great medium for them to like go all out with all the monsters that they want to show and do a bunch of crazy action if they wanted to, and without costing them a lot of money. So
I agree with that. I think that's a smart idea. Animation's a smart idea to do in the MonsterVerse because otherwise it's going to cost a shit ton of money
every time. Yeah.
And I guess my thing is also I'm kind of tired of Skull Island. I've seen it a million times.
Here's the thing.
It
I
feels
haven't
like at this
seen
point.
the most recent Kong Skull Island. So maybe that's it for me. I haven't gotten tired of Skull Island yet. But yeah,
maybe.
I'm sure. So you've seen it, the most recent?
Yeah, I've seen the most recent one.
I heard it was okay.
I watched I might have originally watched some of the original like King Kong and
from the 30s. Wow,
I can't remember.
Okay.
But I've definitely seen the Peter Jackson one, and the idea is cool. It's just it seems to be the same thing almost every single time.
Yeah,
which is almost a Predator.
Right. Super Predator Island. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, like, even the movie, like, this commando group goes to this island they, as opposed to just one thing killing them off, it's a bunch of things.
But if they want to do that and, like, make it like the first Predator movie, I'd be okay with that.
But that's kind of what it is every single time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just different things, or instead of just one thing, it's multiple things. Everything's trying to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. Which makes it less fun. In a way.
No, I like it. It's just how many times am I gonna watch the same thing over and over and over?
I guess that's what I'm thinking is that like when you're in a singular fight with like this massive threat like the Predator, you like you're feeling it the whole time, like the whole chase and the fight just 1v1. But I feel like if you just keep like reintroducing threat after threat after threat, it will get old. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I see your point.
And also, like, Kong probably gonna be nice to one of the humans.
Sure, because he's a nice guy.
So,
it's a predictable show, maybe. But
I don't. Again, we don't know. It's
just
a minute.
Know.
It's just I'm not like.
But two things going against it is that it's a part of the MonsterVerse and it's a part of Netflix.
Well,
so
the first part I like.
I don't.
The Netflix part, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I specifically don't have Netflix, A, because it costs so much money, and but B, most of their programming, I know they have a lot of good stuff sometimes. Like, I've watched I've had Netflix for years up until this point.
Right.
But I mean, there is some just horrible
garbage
shit that gets on there, and there's so much of it that I don't even know anymore.
Right, what all they're releasing every month.
At least like Paramount Plus.
Zack's gassing up Paramount Plus.
I like it, but and at least they have like dedicated. They let you know things are happening. They put and usually for the most part they're of quality. The stuff that I've seen.
Yeah.
So
and here's the thing, Netflix. I don't know if you saw, but they are now like. To add another family member that like is outside of your household, another $8.
Yeah, the password sharing,
so dumb. So you only pay another $8 on top of the $16 I'm already paying. Great.
Well, I mean, I will say that is their right, as like
Well, it's my right not to subscribe. Sure. There you go.
But the next trailer is we're gonna talk about the Final Flash trailer.
Yeah.
I think there will be minor cameo stuff that we talk about that's involved. So if you really don't want to know anything about the Flash, I would say skip ahead to the next topic.
Agreed.
But I watched it. I'm sure Ian watched it.
No, I didn't watch it.
Okay, well, no. But what did you think? Because for me, it was really good.
Okay.
Like maybe
here's the thing.
Maybe not like the best of the bunch.
Yeah.
But
I think
they told a lot, but they also I don't feel like they gave away a lot.
That's interesting because like my vibe or like initial impression of it was that if this was maybe a trailer that we got at the very beginning before like we saw anything, I might be happier with this. But the fact that like we had gotten some great trailers already, and this seemed to just kind of like fill in gaps here and there. Like we got scenes that kind of like ran together. Like we got like multiple scenes of like Barry and Bruce talking like outside of a club or something.
Yeah.
And like we know how that's gonna like go into the movie now. So like I think that's where I'm unhappy with it, is because like there was so much I didn't really want to know yet, like structural wise and plot wise. But other than that, like it was like action wise, it does great things too, like the other two trailers, and it doesn't lose my hype at all. It's just like I kind of wish I hadn't seen it.
Here's the thing. I guess the stuff you're referring to, I think what you're referring to is how the conversation with Bruce of the DCU Bruce
Right.
and Barry, how that's going to tie into like him going back in time, is them having that conversation. For me,
sort of.
So I would be curious to know what you're talking about, because for me, I inferred enough of that. The part that was most interesting is it's either going to be played for a joke or it'll be a massive part of it, is when he's like, I can even bring back your parents.
Yeah.
So that might be a actual big thing, or it might not be at all.
I think it probably should be, but I honestly do think it'll be like Bruce will be mature enough to be like,
yeah,
I think I won't be the same person that like Gotham needs me to be without my parents dying. So,
but what's the part that you're
I like
that you don't need?
I'll say more specifically is like we're. And it's nothing big. It's just like scenes I just would rather have watched in the movie. Like we get the start of the movie where like the Flash is getting bombarded by a group of like girl fans.
I love that,
and, which is great. But like I also kind of want to see that like for the first time in the movie. You know, like
sure.
And then we get like that.
But we
scene,
still don't know,
right? No, but we get that scene ending with like Bruce saying, "Hey, I need you right now," and then like we know that's going to transition to the fight, and then we know the fight's going to transition into Barry and Bruce like at the nightclub and on the street or whatever.
I guess for me, I was like, yeah, that's probably how it's going to go.
I don't know.
I feel you.
Yeah.
So that's that part.
I mean, there's a couple other times it happens in the trailer. I can't specifically remember the others, so that's good, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, we got a lot of cool action shots, a lot more of DCU Bruce, zipping around, Zod talking, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, they're being very careful not to show us like anything else that's big. Like I feel like we're kind of reiterating a little bit like with the trailers now.
Yeah,
but
kind of the same old. Maybe there's but there is a levity, like a fun adventure, like because I liked because like he's like, oh shit, my fucking other self's coming, and he like
I did like seeing that. That was cool. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's another one where like even though I enjoyed seeing that, I'm like, well, that's another like them meeting is now answered, right? Like now we see that scene for the first time in the trailer
that we know of.
But yeah, I don't know.
But like we said, with cameos, one that was shown in the trailer was Alfred is in communication.
I think it's cool that he's in the movie, but I don't think he'll be in it after like the first 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very cool.
Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
Yeah, me too.
He's kind of sassy. He's a sassy Alfred.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's nice. And then the other cameo that...
This is the kind of big spoiler.
Kind of, but it is a bigger spoiler because you wouldn't even think about it if we don't talk about it.
Right.
So if you really don't want to know about this, skip ahead.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll be done talking like 2-ish minutes about it. But the director, Andy Muschietti, did in an interview just say that Nicolas Cage, him as Superman, will be in the movie. Very briefly, I know people who have seen the movie who can confirm that it is a very small part, and that it was even that the movie was so good that that this part of the movie doesn't even like
bother most people.
Not bother, but like it's like, oh yeah, and that happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and if you're confused as to why Nicolas Cage is Superman, he was going to be Superman in a Tim Burton.
Yep.
When he was doing the Batman movies, he was going to do a Superman movie. And
that fell through.
There's a documentary you can watch about it.
There is.
Made by John Schnepp, who, rest in peace. I love him. Yeah. I mean, he's gone now. But yeah, there's a documentary you can watch about it. So yeah, Nicolas Cage is going to be Superman in the movie.
I think... I was talking to Zack a little bit before this, and like I had heard a rumor that they were going to do like a deep fake Christopher Reeves Superman, and maybe a deep fake Adam West, Batman, which I don't need those per se, because I don't know, like the actors aren't reprising those roles, so it's not like that special, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a similar thing with like Tom Hanks talking about AI and deep faking himself so he can be in movies forever. And I was like, you want that? Wow.
I don't want that.
Yeah, well, he's down for it apparently.
Interesting. But yeah, I think that's it's just so odd for me. Like if you're gonna pull back to any Superman, I would go gosh, is it Brandon Routh who did Superman Returns?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, more audiences are gonna get that reference.
Well, but sure.
Nicolas Cage was never Superman.
Yes.
You know, like nobody but comic nerds are gonna know.
But I think that's part of the appeal. Like the same way that like people in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness were like, we might get Tom Cruise as Iron Man.
Yeah.
And everybody else would be like, why is...
I don't want to go off like topic too bad, but I don't know if you heard, but the writer for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness said he tried to get that to happen. But yeah, Tom Cruise was too busy apparently. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, and apparently that he got the idea because of fan like theories.
Right.
So that's cool that like Marvel can I guess pull some stuff from that. But yeah, back to Flash.
Yeah, I mean, if you were like, yeah, that would, unless you got agreement from like the Reeves estate to like have Christopher Reeves show up as Superman, but yeah, a little bit like that. At least with Luke in Star Wars getting deep faked, at least that was still Mark Hamill.
It was his voice, I think.
But he was even on set, I believe.
I mean, I don't know if you know the actor who like stood in.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe he was on set, but not acting.
Mark Hamill at least was like, I know he was on the set for like those Boba Fett episodes.
Okay, so, that's cool. I mean,
and at least he's still around, right?
So but, Christopher Reeves is not.
No, so
yeah. I would just say I would rather have Brandon Routh, but. You know, Nicolas Cage is kind of cool.
I mean, I'm guessing that there's if they're gonna put that out in there, I'm very interested to see what else is in there.
Oh, I'm sure it's huge. Yeah, huge stuff.
So yeah, pretty cool to me. Pretty cool to finally see Nicolas Cage as Superman. I want to know.
I'm curious for sure.
He apparently went like all in.
I'm sure because he loves Superman. He's a huge Superman nerd. So
I hope he has the long hair. Maybe even that
the black
same
suit. Maybe if he's got long hair, you kind of want her to have a.
Well, he even had the long hair in just the
You're right,
the regular
pictures. Yeah.
So we'll see.
But I don't think he would have had long hair in the movie. I really don't.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on. So Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny, just premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. Where
Is it Cannes or Cons?
I
don't know.
Whichever. And we have a bunch of reactions from multiple different outlets. And to my surprise, actually, very mixed reviews. We have stuff that's fun. So some of it is fun, wacky, it works. And James Mangold brings the characters' adventures to a satisfying conclusion. But then you have some other people saying some relics are better left where they belong. And also, quote, we have lived through worse.
Yeah.
So, and then the general consensus is generally better than Crystal Skull, but not as good as the first three. And Harrison Ford does a great job. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is good, and Mads Mikkelsen is good, but maybe the plot kind of makes his character not as intriguing or doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna watch the movie and take it on my own. You know, on what I think, but I think it's pretty split down the middle. So unfortunately, by the time we watch this movie, either both me and Ian are going to like it or hate it, or one of us will hate it and one of us will like it. There's a literal 50-50 chance at this point.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I had been hearing a lot of like, I don't know, just a lot of maybe uneasiness about this movie, like going into it, that there's a lot of like doubt for like the goddaughter character, if she was going to be a good part of it, and the deep fake stuff and the time travel stuff. And yeah, maybe it's not the biggest surprise to me that the reactions are mixed. It's maybe a little surprising that there's so many negative ones. Because like,
and I don't want to I can only take it from the way that it's written.
Yeah.
But some of the negative ones are really biting.
Really negative.
And I'm like, you didn't have to be that. Like, I mean, you can do whatever. But because some of them are funny, like where you said we've lived through worse. I'm like, wow, okay.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and like the stuff I've heard about the movie, like from these reviews, like the actual plot points, I'm not a huge fan of what I've heard, which is kind of like what happened after the fourth movie.
Do you want to elaborate or
sure?
Or no?
I can. This is basically kind of spoilers, but I'm hearing that he and his wife are divorced now, and that it was his fault.
Oh, I don't like that.
And that he maybe I haven't heard.
Why has it got to be his? Why
do they have to not have a good home life?
Why can't?
Huh? Yeah, right. Why do they have to pull a Han Solo in episode 7?
God, okay.
Yeah. And I think they also kind of mentioned that like he and his son might not be talking. I don't know though.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Yeah. So
why is it got to be like the old man character that comes back out of? Why is it always got to be like, I've ruined everything.
This is all I got left.
It's always been me and artifacts. Right. So, I'm an archaeologist. Damn it.
We were talking last week, I think, about it, and I think we were both like, yeah, I'd be really happy if like she was in the beginning of it, and she was just like, all right, see you, sweetie.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and he just goes.
He's
off.
like, I'm done with adventures.
Right.
I've taken on the greatest adventure of my life, marriage.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that, I guess, that's probably rubbing people the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because it's literally like actually, to be fair, I'm thinking the one old man like sort of coming out of retirement story that I was like literally thinking of was Unforgiven. Do you know that? With
I don't
Clint
think
Eastwood?
I do.
It was like in the 90s, and Clint Eastwood was already like an old
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's 30 years later now.
and I think if I remember correctly, he did actually have like a home life. Like I don't know if it was necessarily the best, but at least he did have like a home life.
At least
goes out. But so I guess but it just seems like every single time.
It's just a cliche now.
Divorce. Yeah. Like he's not even a cop. He's a teacher and he's divorced.
It's just like, and someone said it too recently, and it's not like it's a big revelation, but like we got a great ending in 3. He rode off into the sunset, and then in 4 he got married and settled down with his kid.
Yeah.
He got a relationship with his son, but
he's been estranged from Marion every single movie.
Right.
Why again?
Why again? Why do another third finale for Indiana Jones? Like, I mean, yes, I think I was way more positive before the reviews about this movie, but like
I might watch it. I may not like those things, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to necessarily let it affect how I feel about the entire movie.
Right.
I'm not like, if that's a story they want to tell, I'll be like, all right, I might have not done that, or I don't particularly love that's the story they went with.
Right.
But let me just like watch the movie and see what I think. So I'm still going to go into it with a blank slate, because I still might be one of those people who really likes it.
Sure.
But
I mean, I don't like, Steven Spielberg was like pretty positive after he saw it, and he's made 4 of them. So I don't know.
I made the worst one.
Yeah. Apparently, he made all of them. So
no, I know, but he like, apparently this one,
even with that, he still made the worst. Yeah.
Apparently he's made the worst one.
Yeah.
So
and here's the thing, some positives I've heard. I mean, I feel like maybe the one positive I've been hearing is that Harrison Ford is like truly super charismatic as Indy.
Yeah.
And you can tell he just loves playing this role. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't know if you've heard any like big positives about this movie. Because like even John Williams' score, I heard someone say like it was it was good, but there was nothing like special about the score.
I guess a lot of what I saw was like somebody was saying, yeah, I'll give it props that it wasn't total nostalgia porn. And I was like,
okay, so it's doing something. It's doing something new, I guess.
I think it's out of the positives, nobody's been like, wow,
Yeah.
It's been like, yeah,
it's pretty good. Yeah,
which is
worrying
not what I was thinking.
No.
So
no, especially from James Mangold. I feel like that's where we were like, yeah, they got a great director behind this thing.
Yeah, and when we were talking about Star Wars Celebration, which I don't even know how long ago that was, like a month or two ago.
Yeah, maybe 2 months. Yeah.
They're having Lucasfilm, which has, Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Right.
They are having James Mangold direct the Origins of the Force movie.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought was, well, they've seen Indiana.
Right, they
5.
must love it. Yeah.
It must be good, which, again, it's split down the middle.
Right.
I guess Lucasfilm is on the is like, oh, this was a good movie.
And here's the thing, it could be really well directed. It just might be a bad story.
Yeah.
So
like you were telling me, like that could be the case. We could watch it and the audience loves it and critics are split and it does really well.
Sure. That could be the case. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the Origins movie is a good idea. I mean, he's still a great director.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that like
he made Logan, so
he made 3:10 to Yuma.
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
Oh, you gotta watch that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. We have our expectations low, but our hopes somewhat high. I don't know. Maybe our hopes aren't high anymore. They're both low.
My hopes are. I don't know. I don't know what my hopes are.
I don't either. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But kind of in line with this, our hypothetical question of the week. I guess Zach, if you want to introduce yours.
So each week we do a hypothetical, and a hypothetical is if we were in charge of this company, or
right.
if we could make this movie, or blah 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 blah.
Uh-huh.
And so my topic, my hypothetical this week is, if you could write any Indiana Jones movie, he can be whatever age, he can do whatever you want, what would it be? And I can throw it to you, or I can give mine. And
mine's not super like detailed, but I will say and it kind of goes in line with what I had said in the past on our podcast, which was that if I ever wanted to see another Indiana Jones movie without Harrison Ford,
okay.
because I mean, to be made,
sure.
It would be without him, right?
Yeah.
That's just the thing. But if I were, it would be set before Temple of Doom, and
yes,
and
okay.
I want it set like a year, maybe 2 years before Temple of Doom, and I want it to be the meeting of him and Short Round. I want a whole movie.
How old would Short Round? I don't think Short Round would be. He would
a year or two younger than Temple of Doom.
Yeah, how old would he be?
He'd be like 7 or something.
What is he gonna do with him?
Okay, well,
he can barely do.
Okay, so a year then.
Okay,
a year, and then that's how he'll meet
maybe
Short Round.
6 months.
No, come on,
he could still be best friends with him after 6 months.
I agree, but I don't know. I feel like it's on a stretch for like a kid.
2 years.
A kid to be
a 7-year-old.
We don't know how old he was. All right, I'll look it up real quick.
I will say that I did have that thought. Like, I like the idea of an Indiana Jones movie before Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
I think that's really interesting for some reason. Before he gets involved in Nazis, I guess. Because that would kind of go in line with like what I was thinking. But yeah, let's see how old Short Round is.
He's
in Temple of Doom.
I don't believe this.
What does it say?
Because the Temple of Doom takes place in 1935. And the novelization apparently states that Short Round was born in the year of the monkey, which would place his birth between February of 1920 and 1921. So he's like 14, which I don't believe.
I don't think he's that old.
There's no way.
No.
Maybe like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, do a year. A year's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, what would the it's just that you don't
it would
details
be,
of like where he'd go or what the relic might be, or
I mean, I would definitely have it set. Where was the first movie, the beginning of that was set in, like, was it Hong Kong?
No. It was with the what was that tribe?
No. I mean, like, the, you know, like where he's like at a dinner, you know. And Short Round's there.
Right? Maybe that might have been. Yeah.
Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, do it all in Shanghai. I don't know what relics you would have from over there. But you could easily
in the city. In the city?
It doesn't even have to be all Shanghai. You could have it all take place in China.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
because to me the idea of like indie in the city,
sure, it's not I agree, because I'm not a huge fan of the intro of Temple of Doom.
I do like that.
In some ways I do, but it doesn't feel like Indiana Jones to me. You know, like he feels like a spy in that scene.
Sure.
And so yeah, I agree. I would want him in the wilderness. I obviously Nazis doesn't make sense, so I would just switch it over to, you know, Chinese government.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So not super detailed, but, you know,
okay.
I wanted the characters. Yeah.
Mine, I didn't want to go with Nazis.
Right. Because we always see Nazis.
But I will say, if there was another Indiana Jones movie with without somebody like a younger Indiana Jones, I do want Nazis.
Sure. Yeah. It's just the classic villain.
Right. But what I was thinking, maybe also before Temple of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get to look up artifacts, which is what I was going to base a lot of this off of.
Right.
But my thinking is, what about like he goes up against a pagan cult, you know?
Okay.
Like some sort of pagan artifact. They're like up in like wherever Midsummer takes place. Just a bunch of like weird pagans, and he gets mixed up into similar to like Temple of Doom, but like way more like that. I don't know like what country that takes place in, but like those Norwegic or some sort of like cult.
You feel
like that.
Like the Northmen almost, like the beginning of the Northmen. Like you kind of want that scenery.
The beginning of the Northmen? Maybe. I just like the idea of it doesn't have to start off there, like similar to the Temple of Doom.
You want the trip to take
like,
him there,
like some sort of like artifact he's after. It doesn't even have to be like something that he's like up against a government that wants it. It's just like, I really want to like find this artifact. I just like he's going for like an adventure on his own, similar to like how he was after that yellow idol at the beginning of Raiders.
Right.
Like he just he wasn't after, nobody was after him. He just wanted to get it. And then he's like slowly gets wrapped up into this like cult sort of thing. I
like that.
I kind of like it.
That's neat. Yeah. I think having a plot where like he's self-interested, I think that's a neat little spin on it, because I feel like even in the first movie, even after that, you know, like we get the government coming to him and he's like, yeah, we want you to find this thing for us, you know, and you know, it's
I don't need outside forces chasing him. I do want action. I don't want it to be like not without action.
Yeah.
But like make it kind of horror, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be. It would be like a very eerie, creepy film.
Some eeriness, but I still want adventure. I still want big action sets.
Yeah, I just feel like it'd be like a very snowy movie almost in my mind, you know?
Interesting. I was picturing more like it's spring.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Greenery.
But I feel like maybe like the scenery of like a blizzard.
He's like, what's going on with this? Why is there fire?
The scenery of a blizzard though, like in the finale act, could be like really.
He's been there for like 2 months.
Yeah.
It's winter now.
Sure. Yeah. That would be cool. Make it a month-long or a 2-month-long adventure.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. I'd love that.
Some sort of pagan artifact. I want some weird thing.
Weird thing.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's Hypotheticals this week.
Yeah. Moving on. So this is another trailer, which I had no idea that this was a movie. And I'm kind of surprised that like I've not heard about this
until the trailer dropped. Yeah, I mean, same here.
Because this movie is incredible, or at least the trailer looks incredible.
It looks really good
to me.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about it's called The Creator.
It's from the same director who made Rogue One.
Yes. And so I'll just read the synopsis that they have.
Sure.
Amidst a future war between the human race and the forces of artificial intelligence, Joshua, who's played by John David Washington, a hardened ex-special forces agent grieving the disappearance of his wife, who's Emma Chan from Eternals, and is recruited to hunt down and kill the Creator, the elusive architect of advanced AI who has developed a mysterious weapon with the power to end the war and mankind himself. And so basically, they go in kind of to destroy this him and this special ops group, I guess, go in to destroy this thing called the Creator.
Yeah, here's the thing. I kind of well, hold on. The thing is called the Creator? I thought there was like, okay. For some reason in my mind, I was like, the Creator has made this thing that they're trying to destroy. But I don't know.
From what I see,
from what you read, okay,
is the Creator is that young girl.
Okay, cool. That's what I want. That's what I wanted. So that's great.
So yeah, it looks like they put a shit ton of money into this.
Yeah.
It looks like District 9 and Elysium.
Yes, I got Elysium vibes for sure. Yeah.
Which I want it to be better than Elysium.
Yeah, I mean District 9 was way better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got John David Washington, Emma Chan, Ken Watanabe, who literally makes everything better. Sturgill Simpson.
I don't know the actor.
The thing is he's a country music artist. He was also in he's also in the next movie that we're going to talk about too.
Oh, really?
Apparently.
Huh.
So I guess he's making
an actor now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe like small roles, but still.
Right.
But yeah, I guess the design of these, I don't like the girl and Ken Watanabe. They are part machine, and their design, like where they don't have ears, and it's like their head is in, like, it's weird. They're designed in because I think they're part machine or something.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
Like the design of everything is incredible. I mean, from the poster, you have this robot. Maybe those are like the AIs.
Maybe.
And it's literally just like tending some sort of field. Right. And it's got these planes in the background that are kind of futuristic, as well as these buildings that are also futuristic, but it's juxtaposed to this like robot tending an organic field, like a beautiful field. And I'm like, this seems really, it looks like it's an action film, but I would almost argue that there's not going to be that much action. I feel like it's going to be more of like thinking, and I'm really interested by like what this is going to be about, because if they are already giving out the description, I'm assuming that there's more to, because they already gave out like, oh, it turns out to be a girl.
Right. I mean, there's got to be way more to it than that.
But what if there's not, and they're like, well, we got to do, maybe that's why we haven't heard about this movie, is because what if it's not that great of a story?
Why would they blow that in the marketing? I don't know. Like, to me, if you just did like a cool, like very vague trailer drop, it was like a minute long, and you just got to see like scenery, and you just got like from the creator of Rogue One, and you're just like, I don't know. I feel like that's enough for me to be like, yeah, I'll go see that.
Now, here's the thing. When they say from the creator of Rogue One, I think they're speaking about Gareth Edwards,
the director.
But didn't Toby and forget his last name. Wasn't there like
did
that?
He write it?
Wasn't there like they had to switch out?
I don't know. I didn't know there was a
people like at the end to make that movie like work.
I don't know. I guess you would know more than me.
So I'm just curious because I know that with Rogue One,
there's just kind of multiple people who have their hands on it.
Yeah. So I'd be curious to know, like, is this the person who like
didn't he also get credited, or this same person get credited with the the Andor series?
I don't know. No, because a lot of Andor is
it's different directors.
Tony Gilroy. Oh, it is Tony Gilroy. Tony Gilroy. Because Tony Gilroy came in to like do a lot of stuff for Andor. So I'm for Rogue One. So I'm wondering how much of Gareth Edwards also like did stuff for Rogue One.
Right.
Or for, did stuff for Rogue One. So I don't know how much of that'll lead into like the creator. But just going off of this, you have like John David Washington, who's obviously very upset about being a part of, I think these AI have like nuked the world and it's very dystopian. He's like, I'm not a good person.
Who were you saying it was?
Tony Gilroy.
It's saying Gareth Edwards directed this.
Okay.
So he worked on Rogue One as well, right?
Yes. But I know that like there was some sort of swap. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see. It looks great.
Yeah.
It looks like a really good movie. I'm really intrigued.
Yeah, I also, kind of like you spoke on like Elysium and what was the other movie that you got vibes from?
District 9. Also,
sure.
Slightly kind of like Oblivion, but I just I hope it's better than Oblivion, because there was just a time period with like Elysium and Oblivion that they were like, whoa, look at this crazy big sci-fi movie.
Right.
And it didn't turn out to be like very much like substantive at all, and it was like it's almost like just a big action movie.
I also just from the like the scene alone where he's going to like meet the creator.
Yeah.
Like that is just very Matrix vibes for me.
Sure. Yeah.
There was another movie that did that recently. I guess kind of Captain Marvel did that too. But there, like for me, that like I think it's going to be interesting to see that like Matrix 2 did it at the end of the movie.
Right.
Where it was kind of this big reveal where he just dropped a bunch of information. I guess I'm also thinking Loki kind of did that.
Right.
But
I feel like Matrix just changed everything.
Sure. But yeah, I think it'll be really cool.
The red pill.
It'll be really cool to see like that happen at the beginning of a movie and see how this guy like comes to terms with like protecting this life of a little girl who he's supposed to be destroying, and like she might not have any answers, but I don't know.
Not necessarily the most original
but
idea, but I do like those stories.
I love those stories where it's somebody protecting a little kid, that's just it's a good story.
Mandalorian, Logan,
Last of Us.
Last of Us. I hope that I do hope that there's more, because I hope that's not just this big reveal that I would have just wanted to watch the movie by itself.
Agreed.
But we'll see. We will see.
We'll see.
Also, next topic is also another trailer from Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Who's it's Killers of the Flower Moon. This is from a book of the same name.
Dropped in like 2017, I think.
Oh, wow, is it?
Yeah, that recent. Yeah.
So, little description, very short description. Set in 1920s Oklahoma and depicts the serial murder of members of the oil wealthy Osage Nation. I might have said that wrong. I'm not sure. But then a string of brutal crimes that came to be known as the Reign of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
I read that after I'd watched the trailer, but when I was watching the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, so these Native Americans, they found oil, and as Leonardo DiCaprio is reading this story or poem or something, he's like, can you see the wolves in this picture? And at first it's just like something he says, and then it repeats at the end.
Yeah.
And it's a very The Shining-esque like photo it's not a photo, but it looks like they're posing for a photo almost, and all these
Right.
white men are old white men are turning their head, and they're like, okay, yeah, these white guys like basically went and killed all these Native Americans for oil.
I think that it's going to be pretty. I don't know. I'm hoping at least that it is kind of like a mystery, right? That there's like people who you think like we're going to be able to trust that are like, you know, on the other side of this thing.
Sure.
And because like, to me, I think like the trailer looks great, and it's directed beautifully, obviously.
I was going to say that the trailer reminded me of a Christopher Nolan trailer, like an Oppenheimer, like a Dunkirk, when he does that sort of thing.
Right.
But, and this is not anything against Martin Scorsese, because I think it'll be a great movie. I'm sure it'll be really good. Not as cinematic as those. Camera work.
Yeah.
Camera work's good.
Yeah.
But that's not a knock. That's just me saying, like, feels like Christopher Nolan, just less cinematic. Okay. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I guess going back to what I was saying, like I hope that the plot isn't like very straightforward, because it does feel that way in a sense from like the synopsis.
Like, what do you think it's
like, to me
gonna go?
I guess like it feels very like the story is, you know, there's a land of, you know, Osage people or Osage, you know, Native Americans, that there's oil discovered on that property, and I guess the mystery in my mind comes in here, where like out of nowhere you're kind of just seeing like people, like, you know, the Osage people or Osage people getting murdered, and we don't know who's doing it, right? But like it seems like, you know, as an audience, we already know, like, it's these old white men who are killing everybody. Right. So I'm curious to see if the story is like really good around that.
Yeah, I think there might be, like, I don't know if this would be something. I don't necessarily want this to be the case, but, you know, what if there is a twist, and it's like one of the Native American leaders is like, I struck a deal.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that a good amount of I would imagine that Leonardo DiCaprio's character, he seems to be married or a partner with this woman who is clearly probably only because of association, I would assume she knows members of that tribe or was a part of that tribe.
I would agree.
Maybe not. Maybe she's from, you know, another Native American tribe, and she's just affected because it's, you know, still like kind of her people in a way. And maybe he has something to do or he's just like witnessing these things. I don't know.
Right.
So I think there's going to be tension there between those two characters for sure. Maybe it'll turn out to be like some sort of revenge thing, because, you know, I think Martin still likes to do some revenge stuff at times.
Yeah. Do you which character do you think will go on? Like, do you think maybe, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio's wife gets targeted and he goes on a revenge spree?
Could be.
Or do you think she might go on one?
Could be.
Yeah.
I'm fine with either.
Yeah. I mean, seeing Leonardo DiCaprio at the center of this would be cool, but yeah, I'm down for either as well.
I'm sure he will be. Yeah. But I wouldn't hate, like, I'd be cool with the idea of like he got killed halfway through or something.
That'd be pretty neat. That'd be pretty unconventional for like a Leonardo DiCaprio story. Yeah. So,
but I think it looks great.
Especially from like just.
I mean, there seems to be a court, you know, element to this, because we see Brendan Fraser is in like a courtroom. I'm assuming he's a lawyer.
Gosh, yeah.
And there's Leo, Jesse Plemons.
I was gonna say he looks great too.
Lily Gladstone and Robert De Niro. So great cast,
star-studded cast.
Yeah.
So it probably. So when is that coming out? Did it say a release date?
I don't know, but it did say that it was an Apple
and
TV like Plus.
So and that's gonna be direct to streaming.
You would think, but they they have been doing more, streaming services have been doing more
release to theaters.
So I hope it gets released in theaters. I hope
so too, because that feels like a theater experience.
And it also played at Cannes, so it apparently people said it's really, really good.
It got great reactions. I'm hearing this is maybe Leonardo DiCaprio's like best performance yet, which is saying a lot.
Yeah. I would almost argue. I thought he was great in The Revenant.
Yeah, but that's not the role he maybe should have won an Oscar for.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm interested.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's if you haven't watched that, I definitely recommend you watch all the trailers we watched, and then the last trailer we'll talk about.
Right.
We don't normally talk about video games,
but it's pretty important for us.
Yeah. It's superhero related, comic book related.
Yeah.
We did talk about the Suicide Squad game, and so we're gonna talk about the Spider-Man 2 gameplay trailer that dropped. It's 12 minutes. It did not feel like 12 minutes.
No, which is great. I love that. If we basically start the trailer off where even I thought too, we're like, oh, this is Kraven. And this guy,
he's got the accent, he's got the leopard stuff, gauntlets.
He's got everything. Yeah, he's hunting.
Hunting.
Yeah, so this guy gets bombarded by the actual Kraven, and
dude, Kraven got killed in front of us.
Yeah, that's just they spoiled it right in the trailer.
Yeah, they're like this is Mecha Kraven.
But it's a very badass intro for Kraven. He just picks this guy up by the neck and snaps it with one hand.
And then his like one of his compatriots just like about the new hunting ground.
New York.
Yes, let's go there. 6 months later.
Yeah, so I don't think it takes him 6 months to get there because he's clearly like established in New York already.
Nah, it took him 6 months.
But I think it's a very cool, like, I don't know if you noticed with the map that he would like Kraven was shown that like a bunch of villains popped up on it.
Yeah, there was Taskmaster.
There's Kingpin.
Was there Kingpin?
I think so. Yeah.
It showed two different Spider-Man, but like
both Peter and Miles.
Yeah, but the one that I thought was supposed to be Miles, it literally showed him in in one of those like playable suits that we got, like a Mark II or something. It was interesting. There's Black Cat. There was two hooded. There was Taskmaster, and then there was another one that was like had a hood. But
basically, my thought is that like I think.
He's hunting all of them.
All of it. Like I think he's hunting all the villains first, and then he's going to go after Spider-Man. And and I guess that's why, like in the beginning of that trailer, when you first see Spider-Man, he's actually concerned for like Connor,
right.
What's his name? His first name? Kurt Connors. Okay, yeah.
He's the lizard.
Right. And obviously throughout the trailer, and I should say, Peter's wearing the Venom suit. Like we just get introduced to him wearing it, and we get a lot of great new action of the Venom suit, and he's using his tentacles, and it's really good, and you can see the whole time.
I love how it really, like, because unlike the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 where it was just
a very slim
a black
suit
version of the same suit.
Right.
This is a living, it literally is like kind of slimy.
There's parts where you can like see veins and it's very more like much more raw than Toby's.
Yeah.
But I think what was I saying? I was just saying, like throughout the whole trailer, like it just feels like the suit is corrupting Peter more and more and more. And then, like by the end, he's basically like, I'm gonna go hunt the lizard down without Miles, and it sounds like he's gonna kill him. Like he's ready.
He's got big teeth too.
He's got big teeth too. Yeah, what a one-liner. I'm assuming that they're referencing, like, because his voice really does sound like the 90s animated Spider-Man when he gets upset. Right.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go look up Spider-Man black suit, like animated, goes after Shocker.
Right.
It's some of the most overacting.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like I think it works for at
But that
least for me.
Shocker like line has been memed to death.
Yeah. And he's just so angry.
Yeah.
And I think I love the I guess the teaming up with Miles and Peter. Like I like the action. Like it's not co-op.
No, but I don't
it's-
need co-op for this game.
Yeah.
Like I would rather it be single player, to be honest. It's probably a little controversial, but like I enjoyed those first two games being single player, and I don't need to play that with anyone else. But yeah, I think the co-op like action, if you want to call it that, was really good.
Or at least because I guess it was more like quick time towards the end. Sure, but like it was cool that they've like found these ways to have these two Spider-Man interact in an action beat that like is really cool. And
and
Miles is obviously like, hey, what's going on, Peter? Why are you like this?
Right. I love seeing that too, where even by the end, like he's fully realized like, hey, Peter's really like acting different right now. Yeah. So they showed a lot of Lizard running through the city and swimming, and which was great action too. I don't think we had ever seen Lizard swim like that. Like in any property.
I don't know. He felt a lot more like Killer Croc.
Yeah, very Killer Croc.
From the Arkham games.
But I think it's a good direction for the Lizard, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not super surprising that they went in the route that the Lizard is huge, gigantic, much like something that they would do in like the Ultimates, not the Ultimate storylines, Ultimate Universe, yeah, like where all the Spider-Man characters really, like Green Goblin was like a huge fucking goblin.
Oh, right.
And like all the characters really were like if they were animal based or anything.
Personifying the actual name.
Yeah.
Right.
Much like you haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse,
right,
or whatever, but like there's a bit of that there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool. I guess I didn't necessarily expect them to go like the Lizard with the lab coat on.
No,
but that would have been cool a little bit. But I like the design.
We could still see that, and I hope we still see like a Lizard, like when he finally talks to them.
Yeah.
Like I think that will happen. I hope he still sounds intelligent. Like I hope he's not just this like,
we'll see,
hulking, unintelligent beast.
But I will say it's cool. It is cool to get the Lizard. I'm excited to see what other Spider-Man villains we're gonna get. And I think this is all ultimately going to end up. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, much like how I feel like some of the stuff with the Arkham games kind of showed how they were going with the Dark Knight movies in a way, just with small things. I'd be curious to know if maybe Kraven, because I think Kraven's going to go after Venom in this game at some point.
Yes,
I
agreed.
wouldn't be surprised if maybe Kraven in the Sonyverse goes up against Venom in the Sonyverse.
Oh yeah, I think that'll definitely happen.
Yeah.
And I also think what could happen in this game, which it's probably not that big of a stretch, but I think it could be really cool to get like Peter Venom suit versus like Miles, like that fight actually happening, rather than it just being like a conversation where Miles is like, "Hey, you got to take the suit off, man."
Yeah.
Right. I think seeing like the Spider-Man fight could be great.
That could be cool.
Yeah. So super hyped for this game. It's coming out fall this year. So great stuff to look forward to.
I hope it's good.
Yeah.
Hope it's not buggy.
I mean, hey, the first two weren't buggy and they were both great. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And then lastly, maybe something, well, you could be excited, you could be concerned. I don't know. But we're going to talk about Avengers Kang Dynasty. And that is that apparently Jeff Loveness, who is penned to write that movie, he also wrote Quantumania, which we did not like.
Very, very well known that we hate this movie.
Yeah. It's my least favorite MCU movie. Probably my least favorite of the year so far.
Oh yeah, agreed.
So yeah, Jeff Snyder, who's broken a bunch of stuff that's turned out to be true, came out and said that Jeff Loveness has been dropped from the movie, and this was apparently before the writer's strike.
Yeah,
and he said that their sources said that it seems that they are going in another direction. And I should also say that I guess it's unconfirmed. All of this is unconfirmed because it's coming from him and not the studio. But when they say that it seems like they're going in another direction, I don't know if that's like just, hey, different, we're just going for a different writer, or if they're literally going in a different direction now for Kang Dynasty. Because from what I had read, they didn't plan for Kang to be such a big part of like phases 4, 5, and 6 as he has been so far until they saw.
He's only been in like 2 things.
Yes, but I think like maybe it goes into more things because I don't know if this is true, but apparently it was being said that once they saw Jonathan Majors' performances in Loki and in Quantumania before they all came out,
right?
They were like, yeah, we're gonna focus more on it. So I don't know if that's what they mean.
Oh, so
I don't even know if that's necessarily true.
You're saying basically like the game plan at one point wasn't for Kang to be the big bad like Thanos.
I think,
but he was turned into that because they liked it, you know.
I think Kang was always going to be but I don't know if he was going to be like featured as much, because maybe they're like, oh, we're going to write more of him into all these future projects.
I mean, I can't imagine I don't know, maybe they did plan for it, but like I feel like the way they planned Thanos was done really well, even if it wasn't like perfect.
Yeah, because
like the most you got him in a movie before Avengers was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
and he was in it for like maybe 5 minutes, and it was just like he was the villain above the villain, and that was great setup. You didn't need him to be the main villain of a movie and get taken down by a sub character,
a swarm of ants.
Right.
Let's just say what it is.
So yeah, I think the planning has been worse, and then adding on top of. I don't
think that the planning's been worse, because I do like him in Loki. I like that.
I agree. Yeah.
I think the only thing that's upsetting so far is the way that they handled the story, because I like the character, but the story of Quantumania. Because so far everything's like, it's just maybe the one thing that I will say is not thought out so well is explaining the multiverse as well.
Yeah, sure.
With him.
But that was explained well enough for me. Like,
but I'm still a little confused about like what the one above all and then what this other Kang. Because in Quantumania there was like
Kang's multiverse stuff hasn't been explained.
No,
but I think the multiverse in general, I feel like we get enough.
Yes,
right?
But like the one true timeline, and then the war, and then which one happened first.
But I feel like we would be getting all of this in Kang Dynasty if that were to happen.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the thought now, is like, do you think them saying we're going in another direction is like now they're rerouting again and saying, hey, maybe this Avengers isn't going to be Kang Dynasty at all? You know, maybe we just go another villain.
I was thinking that, but I don't know. I don't think that they're going to completely change the name.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they're going to change the villain.
Well, I will say
it
wouldn't be the first time, because they did change the name for like Avengers Endgame, because it was Infinity War Part 2 at one point, which isn't, I don't know. It's not like a huge change, but it's still like you're still changing things after it's been announced, you know?
Yeah. But I guess the way that I imagine Kang Dynasty leading into a Secret Wars is...
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think so.
I agree.
Maybe they're just gonna maybe it's just that they're gonna have a new writer that they're like is more experienced.
We haven't even really. I mean, yes, we touched up on it at the beginning, but like Jeff Loveness probably just didn't deserve to be a writer of this movie. Like, I think the fact that
it's just not there yet.
I would just say like the Russos were hired after they did both, Winter Soldier and Civil War.
Yeah, like.
And then they hired this guy when Quantumania hadn't even come out yet for the next Avengers movie.
Yeah.
I just like, it's just not it,
I guess it makes me wonder about where Marvel is and why all these things are happening, because
there's a lot of writers coming in and out.
I'm super curious as to why he did get the Avengers gig.
Yeah. Right. Like, what's their, like, why are they not assessing quality like in a good way,
Yeah, it's weird why they, it's something that I feel like other studios were doing with like their big properties, like Transformers would hire like somebody who had never directed before.
Sure.
And I'd be like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes that's good. I mean, I know like with Marvel, like, James Gunn had only done like
2 or 3 movies,
small movies.
Yeah.
But granted, like they were still movies.
Sure.
And he had been in the business for like a while as a writer. And but yeah, I mean, to just give the Avengers script to one person. And again, this is unconfirmed, but I do think that he's probably gone.
Yeah, I agree.
From it. And
I don't think it makes sense to keep him.
It makes me happy, but I also, maybe they're gonna hire somebody else. And I'm
you'll be upset about
equally
that.
Not as and I don't know. I mean, like I'm not a writer. It's not like I could do a better job. I'm not gonna like everybody has like a bad time or a bad day. Like it's not like I'm going to do any better. This is just purely from a caring about a franchise and just seeing what I saw and I'm like, I don't really think it's there yet.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, and not like we know like every writer at Marvel.
Yeah.
But like, would you, I mean, this is kind of a hypothetical, but like, who would you like, what show or movie would you like pull a writer from and be like, hey, write the next Avengers movie?
Let me think. Like from all phases?
I would just, I would say just pick from Phase 4, I guess.
From Phase 4.
Yeah. Because like my answers would maybe be like the writer from Shang-Chi or maybe No Way Home.
Which Dustin I forget his full name, but the director is directing
another Marvel movie?
Avengers.
Oh yeah. Nice.
It's I forget if it's Shang-Chi. Oh, my thing's on. Shang-Chi director. He is Dustin Daniel Cretton.
Okay.
He is doing the Kang Dynasty.
Okay. So that's the guy we want. He's just directing.
So he's directing, but I guess I don't know who wrote Shang-Chi. Let me see who wrote it. If they have it on here.
Like I don't think Shang-Chi is perfectly wrote, but I think for the most part it's pretty well written.
He still kind of did a bit of the screenplay.
Okay.
I guess maybe him. If not him, I thought I really liked.
I honestly would. Sorry,
maybe. Oh, I have to. No, I'm just trying to wrap. Go on. I'm gonna think.
I really do think like I don't know who wrote it, but whoever wrote No Way Home, I really do think that it makes a lot of sense because it is a multiverse story.
Yeah,
we need that kind of writing in Avengers Kang Dynasty, obviously. And yes, I think a lot of people like after the fact have kind of changed their minds on No Way Home, but I still think it's a great multiverse story, and I'd love to see whoever wrote that work on it.
I agree. I think that's a very good like pick because it dealt with so much of the multiverse, and on top of that, it was a good story,
right?
And it had emotion.
Yeah. absolutely.
And there was a big cast of characters that they handled well.
Yeah. For the most part.
For the most part. Maybe WandaVision.
Okay.
Because I thought but that was,
it's a very different story. Yeah.
But at least, that was a good story.
Sure. Yeah.
It was still a good,
At
whatever.
least, right.
Like it was still a good story.
Right. They can write quality.
So maybe that.
Sure.
But besides that, like as much as
there wasn't a lot from Phase 4, we were like super,
I get like Loki was cool, but it's not something that I thought was great, like amazing.
Right.
Moon Knight kind of had a lot of flaws.
Yeah. I mean, and I
Thor: Love and Thunder. No.
Like I love Falcon Winter Soldier.
Oh
but
yeah.
Like
yeah,
I don't think that would be like. I guess I'm not trying to pigeonhole these writers to like what they wrote.
Sure.
But like
I guess I'm just basing off of like good
the quality,
story
right.
quality. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that kind of story I wouldn't say would apply very well to a Kang Dynasty type story.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I guess this is somewhat good news.
Yeah, I would say it's good news.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so there.
Yeah, this is the part of the podcast now where we talk about what we watched in the past week. I don't know if you've been watching anything.
I'll just say that it wasn't this past week's episode, though it was very good. But episode 6 of season 4 of Barry is one of the most. It is one of the. Yeah. It's just such a great. It's just a great because it does they've already done a time jump in the show, but they do it where now we get to catch up with all these the other characters.
Oh, okay.
And the way that they handle it all is just so funny, but also there's so much social commentary that is just super scary.
Oh, okay.
But also like just it's incredible.
Okay.
Succession, I cried too much. I cried so much.
Was it the finale?
No, the finale's coming up.
Nice.
So Succession, and then I watched Love and Death, which
I still need to watch that.
It's getting they're in the court now.
Oh, okay.
And she's not handling all the attention very well.
Nice.
So she's been taking some drugs to help calm her down.
Don't spoil too much, by the way.
I won't.
Okay.
But it basically now she's going up to the stand.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's some big shoot, what do you call that? Anticipation? Yeah.
So that'll be coming out. The next one will be coming out soon. So yeah, I mean,
nice.
I think that's everything I watched. Yeah. All really good. It's all on HBO. It's all so good.
Yeah, and I think I've talked about The Boys on here.
Yeah.
This like the season 3, the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the only thing I've watched in the past week was The Meg with you.
Right.
I saw, Zach and I watched The Meg, or I watched The Meg for the first time. Zach watched it with me.
Yeah.
And because The Meg 2 is coming out this August, I figured I need to see it. And it definitely wasn't what I was expecting. Because I was expecting like a really like hype and fun like shark movie, and it took itself very seriously.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of like very serious dark scenes, and then but kind of interlaced with like campy Rainn Wilson and just a bunch of campy like liners from Jason Statham and kind of like cheesy romance and that, and I don't know. And then it kind of came around to like what I was expecting in the finale when it had this amazing like Megalodon versus submarine fight, and Jason Statham like dragged some knives across this, or blades, whatever you want to call them, across his torso. It was great. I mean, it was a great finale, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, it's not as, I guess the reason why I came away from it so well the first time was because it was so much not what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
That my expectations had just changed.
You just went out the window. Right.
So I was like, oh, this is It's pretty good.
I still think it's a pretty good like shark movie. Yeah.
Not as entertaining the second time around for me, but I'm thinking that the Meg 2 is probably going to play more into like the stuff towards the end.
Right. I think it's going to carry straight over because that trailer, man, it's just complete vibes of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there really is like so much really serious moments that you're like, wow, there's like, what is like, it's really, it really does take itself seriously, which works, which makes it work. So I'm just hoping that the Meg 2 kind of does a similar balance.
I guess for some weird reason, if you're going to give me giant sharks, like I would rather it be like Fast and Furious combined with Jaws or whatever you want to call it. That's kind of what this is. I think the Meg 2 will be. I think at points the Meg can get there. It's just not the entire movie.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, pretty good movie, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's all I really watched this week. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you guys for getting to this point of the podcast. We really appreciate you listening to the whole thing and caring about what we have to talk about. But if you want to listen to us in the future, we release on Fridays and Saturdays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean. If you want to check us out on our social medias, we are at Last Week This Week Pod on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. And if you want to support us further, we would always appreciate a like, a comment, a rating, and a review. There's another thing there that you can support us with. I don't know, but we appreciate anything you can do. A subscribe. There we go. Yeah, that's it. And we appreciate you.
Yeah, and we might next week be doing our first video.
We might
version of the podcast. So I'm no guarantee, but next episode might be the first episode where we have a video of us talking. So possibly look forward to that.
Absolutely. It's a pretty exciting venture we're going on.
Yeah. So hopefully you will join us for the next one. Hopefully you'll be able to see us. So yeah.
See our face reveals pretty much, right?
Hopefully it won't be memed like fucking Destiny, but
yeah. But thank you guys for listening.
Yeah. Until next time.